Join me now to discuss how the Senate should move forward with the big, beautiful bills. The president of the National Taxpayers Union, Pete Sepp. Thanks for giving us time tonight.
Absolutely.
Help me. This is a concept I'm trying to understand. They keep talking about giveaways. If everybody gets a tax cut, that includes rich people, what's being given to them? The Democrats will never tell you what percentage of any one person's income is inherently owed to the government to redistribute. And by not putting something into the Treasury, they claim it's like the Treasury giving someone a gift. I can't really understand the concept.
Yeah, only in Washington is being allowed to keep more of your own money a giveaway. And that's what Democrats are trying to do in framing the one big beautiful bill as some evil incarnation that's been hatched by Republicans. Here's the simple truth that bears repeating. It's been the simple truth for quite some time. The top 1% of earners in America account for about 20% of the taxable income and almost 40% of the income taxes. They are pulling twice their weight of the tax system as many, many others. The bottom half accounts for about 15% of the income, less than 3% of the taxes. This is a highly progressive tax system, made more so after passage of the 2017 tax cuts. And the fact is, this bill continues the progressivity of the tax system that has been a long-standing feature of what we have here in America.
Look, I do. I like the flat tax and I like the fair tax. And I used to be pure flat tax until I thought about it. And the fair tax allows us to pay taxes anonymously. If it were not for the progressive tax code, there would be no class warfare in this country. And if no one can tell me why the government needs to know how much income any one of us earn, but we have a political party that points its fingers at certain people, but only in certain categories. They don't challenge the wealth of pop singers or actors or professional athletes. They're not the bad rich people. It's some business owner whose name you've never heard of. That guy, he's the rich guy. He's bad for creating jobs and products that we all need. That's bad. But if we could pay taxes anonymously, it would gut the Democrats' ability to use class warfare.
Well, and the other advantage to a fair tax, and like you, hey, a flat tax would be a great thing. I would agree with that. I share the same opinion. But under the fair tax, a retail sales tax, the other advantage would be you would see right on your cash register receipt how much your federal government is costing you day in and day out. My guess is a lot of people would look at that and say, wow, they're taking 23, 25% or more of my purchase for government. That's too much. Suddenly, we're going to have a debate over the size of government that everyone can participate in.
I've only got a little less than 3 minutes, but I find myself going against the grain of many of my colleagues. I'm not in favor of this baby bond. Everybody hated it when Hillary proposed it back in 2007. How do they plan to reduce spending if they're going to give $1,000 to every baby born in America? And what agency full of bureaucrats is going to manage it? I thought we wanted to shrink government.
Well, yes, it is all about trade-offs, isn't it? You know, another big portion of the bill that passed the House is devoted to delivering SALT relief. In other words, providing a bigger deduction for state and local taxes. Well, that got a few New York and California Republicans onto the bill, but the cost is going to be large, and by cost, I mean the amount of tax relief for SALT is going to be upwards of $350, even $500 billion. We're not sure yet. What could you do with that kind of tax relief if, for example, we just said, we're going to make the standard deduction even bigger. We're going to make all the expensing provisions for businesses that allow them to write off their costs up front. We're going to make that permanent instead of temporary, the way it is in the bill. It's all about setting priorities, and a baby bonus, more SALT relief, those kinds of things detract from the pro-growth features of the tax bill. If we concentrated on those kinds of features, we would double the economic growth that the bill is currently projected to do, and all Americans would be way better off.
I will tell you this. I live in New Jersey. I don't believe in the SALT deduction, and I'll tell you why. It's easy for people to vote for high taxes if they don't have to pay them. This is a giveaway to Democrat governors to continue their spending and to continue their taxing. People aren't going to change their voting habits until they actually have to pay the bill that they voted for. If they got rid of SALT entirely, people in New Jersey who are homeowners are going to have to go, wait a second, now I actually have to pay it. I got 30 seconds.
Yeah, exactly the case. We've got to make these taxes more transparent. And again, I'm not against tax relief here. The bill did what it did. I'm just saying we ought to prioritize it so it benefits the most people and generates the most economic growth. The SALT relief really isn't doing that, and neither are some of the other provisions in the bill. The Senate can fix it as well as enact more deficit reduction. We got to do that.
Yeah. And we got to end the burden shifting. The burden shifting is part of the problem. So then everybody wants the spending, nobody wants to pay for it. I got to leave it there. Thanks for giving us time.
My pleasure.